The emergence of the mark of the beast technology. We are living in an age of technological advancement like no other. The world we live in today is vastly different from the world 50 years ago. 5 decades ago, smartphones did not exist. The general public did not own a computer. There was no internet shopping, neither was there any social media. Is it undeniable that technology is becoming more and more a part of our everyday life? This has led to many theorists to come to the conclusion that with technology being so embedded in every part of our society, technology must be a part of the mark of the beast. Theorists argue that for Revelation 13 to come into fruition, the beast must be able to monitor individuals at a global scale, and the only way to do so is through technology. Revelation 13, 16 through to 18. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Theorists argue that technology will enable Revelation 13 to come into fruition in 2 ways. They believe that the mark of the beast itself will be a piece of technology, and that will be placed on the forehead or their right hand. They believe in order to enforce that all of humanity receive that mark, technology will be used to track and isolate those who do not have the mark. Now, we are going to look at these 2 points and see why some believe that the emergence of the mark of the beast technology has arrived. Firstly, it is important to note that we do not know yet exactly what the mark of the beast is and what the number 666 represents. For example, the recent breakthroughs in medical implant chip and RFID technologies have increased interest in the mark of the beast spoken of in Revelation chapter 13. Radio frequency identity, RFID, chips are tiny computer chips connected to miniature antennas that can be placed on or in physical objects. They are used in a wide variety of applications where contactless authentication is desired, including toll booths, transit passes, passports, and contactless entry keys. How exactly they work? A practical example is that imagine going to the grocery store, filling up your cart, and walking right out the door. No longer will you have to wait as someone rings up each item in your cart one at a time. Instead, these RFID tags will communicate with an electronic reader that will detect every item in the cart and ring each item up almost instantly. Other examples of technological advancements that is potentially being linked to the mark is neurological links between the human mind and computers. This technology consists of small robotic devices being connected directly into the brain, allowing individuals to control computers with their mind. Although this technology is in its infancy, some look to this as the potential avenue of what is spoken of in Revelation 13. The advancement in technology is proving that a time will come when people will not display any form of minted cash. Our society is gearing towards a cashless economic system, and it's becoming more obvious than ever that we can make financial transactions without the use of raw cash, although the mark of the beast is not yet in circulation as many people believe. However, we know that the levels of advancement in technology that our world is experiencing is nothing but staircases leading us into such time when the mark will be the only medium of making legal financial transactions in the world. Well, people are entitled to hold their individual opinions on this matter. However, we can find the truth in this when we fall back to past records. In the past, huge amounts of money had to be moved from place to place in order to perform any financial transaction. With the advent of ATM machines, people moved from traveling with raw cash to traveling with their ATM cards. Currently, we are all aware that digital transactions are the order of the day. With your smartphone, you can link to your bank account and transfer funds on digital platforms in a matter of seconds. The inception of cashless payments was aimed at eliminating several business risks, such as theft of cash by employees, counterfeit money, robbery of cash, and the stress involved in cash movement, and the length of time required to count money and balance accounts. The Bible does not explicitly mention a cashless society. However, a lot of Bible scholars believe that a cashless society is a necessity for Revelation 13 to come into fruition. As long as people are using cash, transactions can be completed in private and cannot be monitored by the Antichrist. But if all currency becomes electronic, then every transaction can be monitored by the Antichrist. Be that as it may, a cashless society is not necessary to fulfill the conditions of Revelation 13. Nevertheless, it is very plausible that a cashless society could be one of the avenues to usher in the control of the Antichrist. The truth is, we don't expressly know. But what we do know is that the mark of the Antichrist is a declaration of worship. It is a permanent sign of allegiance to the Antichrist. Worship is at the central core of the battle between good and evil. Worship is at the core of it. The issues surrounding the mark of the Antichrist started long before you and I were created. It started long before Adam and Eve. Satan, at his very core, is a usurper. He wanted to usurp the worship God rightly deserves for himself. And the mark of the Antichrist is the point in human history where he will finally get his wish of being worshipped. Short-lived as it may be, he will be worshipped by the world with this mark. The issue of idolatry is something God does not play games with. God does not play games when it comes to his worship. Isaiah 42:8. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, nor my praise to carved images. Idolatry is anything that takes the place of God in your life. Your job could be your idol. You yourself could be your idol. Your pastor can be your idol. What are you exalting in the place of God? The Antichrist will exalt himself as God. That is idolatry. People will worship him as God. That is idolatry. Anything that takes the place of God in a person's life is idolatry. And at the core, the mark of the Antichrist is not to do with buying or selling. It's not to do with control. It's not to do with anything outside of worship. Revelation 14:9 and 10 says, And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of its indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. Worship is at its core. Now, another reason why people believe that technology is at the core of the rise of the Antichrist is through the increase of surveillance. Countries around the world have increased facial recognition surveillance, email, text, and phone monitoring, geolocation data from smartphones and vehicles, credit card data, and ad tracking information. Technological tools already are developed to track everyone in the world. Many countries are implementing a system of facial recognition and GPS locators to Phones can record conversations even when the phones are turned off. This has led to more and more people to believe that the Antichrist will use technology to coerce his mark on the world. Although the Bible does not go into detail as to how the Antichrist will operate and take center stage of the world, we can see the tide moving towards his arrival. We can truly see his spirit preparing the heart of mankind for his arrival. Ultimately, in the heart of every person, there is a Christ sitting at the throne of everyone, either Jesus Christ or the Antichrist. There is no spiritual neutrality. There is no middle ground. I do believe that before the Great Tribulation, the rapture of the church will take place, and we are to be longing for the rapture to take place. Every day, you and I are to wake up with an expectation, a longing, a desire that this could be the day. This could be the day when we are to see the Lord. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 and 17. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God. and the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we will be with the Lord forever.